Heartwarming moment, young billionaire discovers incredible gift from poor mom and baby during suburban homecoming. The sun gleamed over Maple Grove, sparking vibrant memories as Alex Thompson drove through the streets of his childhood. As a self-made billionaire at 28, his life in Silicon Valley offered everything he dreamed of: success, wealth, and power. Yet today, those shiny trappings felt distant and hollow against the pulse of nostalgia that gripped him. He passed the old diner where he used to sip milkshakes with his sister, Lily, and park his bike beside the community center that once buzzed with laughter and hope. The laughter of children echoed in his mind as he parked, stepping out into a world where the scent of blooming lilacs mixed with the heat of summer. Guilt twisted in his gut. His mother, a single parent, sacrificed everything to ensure Alex and Lily could chase their dreams. Late-night conversations about ambition and hard work flashed before him, igniting a longing for connection that success hadn't filled. As he entered the community center, memories flooded back, the darting beams of sunlight through windows, the echo of joyful chatter. But today's noise came from a tired, determined woman wrestling with her messy hair and her son, Ben, a bubbly child with a face full of innocence and mischief. Maria's energy radiated as she juggled job searches and snack time, her perseverance reminding him of his mother. He felt a swift connection, a tugging at his heartstrings that he couldn't define. Then he learned about Maria's struggle. Like his mother, she was fighting to keep her world from crumbling. A looming eviction hovered over her, casting a shadow on their bonding. Struggling between his elite world and this raw reality, Alex felt his heart race. Should he step in and help, or maintain his pristine image among his wealthy friends? The choice felt nearly impossible, like balancing on a tightrope over a chasm of guilt. Just then, little Ben came to him, his tiny hands outstretched, presenting a colorful crayon drawing. In shaky letters, it read, "Best Friends." Bright colors splashed across the paper, each stroke radiated warmth and innocence. A smile exploded on Alex's face, the drawing awakening memories of his own mother's love and sacrifice. But as he reveled in that moment, an uneasy silence brewed behind him. He could feel the eyes of his affluent peers questioning his compassion. What had he become? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As he pondered whether to invest in Maria and Ben's future, a voice from the group of socialites broke the silence, questioning his loyalty. "This isn't you, Alex," they muttered. "What about your elite status?" Tension electrified the air, and Alex's heart raced. Just as he leaned into his roots, contemplating a plan to help, his phone buzzed ominously. A campaign was brewing against him, spearheaded by those he once called friends. They feared his change, and a fight for identity began to unfold. Standing at the crossroads, Alex felt a surge of energy, a life calling him beyond the walls of privilege, and the pressing question remained: could he fight for connection in a world that valued status over humanity? The weight of judgment loomed heavily, but inside, a fire ignited. His journey was just beginning, a path less traveled toward the community that craved authenticity. As Alex stood there, caught in the tension between two worlds, he felt the moment stretch around him. The drawing in his hands suddenly became a lifeline, a reminder of who he was beneath the labels and expectations. Ben's innocent creation stirred something deep within. In that childish artwork, he saw not just a message of friendship but a plea for understanding and connection. Maria's gaze met his, and in it, he found both hope and desperation. She clearly didn't know about the socialite whispers behind him, the judgment in their eyes, but in that instant, Alex had a choice to make. He thought of his mother, how she worked tirelessly to provide a better life for him and Lily. Would she want him to walk away from someone like Maria in need? Resolute, he stepped closer to Maria and knelt down beside Ben. "I love this, buddy," he said, gesturing to the drawing. "You're an amazing artist." The child's face lit up as if a star had just been born in his world. "What's your favorite color?" Ben asked, hopping on his toes, his excitement infectious. "Blue," Alex replied automatically, a hint of laughter escaping him at how simple it felt. He hadn't felt this free in years, and it unnerved him. Darkness loomed behind him, but here, with Maria and Ben, there was light pure and untainted. "Auntie Maria says we can make a big blue house with my crayons," Ben exclaimed, his eyes brimming with joy. Maria chuckled, her tired smile breaking through the worry lines on her face. "A house is all we need, right?" "Exactly. And maybe I'll put a window just for you to come in," Ben declared, puffing up with pride. Alex looked up at Maria, who had taken on the burden of so much alone. "How about we start with a little help?" he said, words spilling out before he could second-guess them. "I mean, what if I help find you a job and even look for a new place?" The murmurs grew louder around them. His peers shifted uncomfortably, shocked expressions on their faces. Alex, however, felt a sense of empowerment rising in him, driving out the shadows of doubt. With every word, he committed further to a path he hadn't expected to take. Maria's eyes widened in disbelief. "You don't have to do that, Alex." "Really? I'll find a way." "No," he replied firmly. "Let me help. You've got so much potential and Ben deserves a fighting chance." That's when the naysayers behind him erupted. "Alex, this is ridiculous," one of them shouted, incredulous. "You're throwing your life away." But the weight of their voices turned into mere background noise. In a fractured moment, Alex realized something vital: he wasn't throwing anything away. He was laying the foundation for something real, something powerful. He was reclaiming parts of himself that success had dulled. "I will not apologize for wanting to connect," he finally declared to his peers, his voice steady and strong. "True progress is built on people, not on money." Ben bounced up and down, barely able to contain his joy. Maria's expression softened, and she blinked back tears of gratitude. Everything felt alive and electric, a heartbeat resonating in the community center, but just as Alex sensed the possibility of change stirring around him, his phone buzzed again, this time revealing a text from his assistant, urgent and pressing. "You need to see this ASAP. Media is spinning a story about you." Suddenly, he felt cold despite the warmth surrounding him. The grip of his old world tightened, and a new fear knotted in his stomach. What had he unleashed? As the laughter and color of the moment began to fade, his thoughts spiraled into the unknown. Was he ready for the battle that lied ahead, fighting not just for his heart but for the legacy he wanted to leave behind? Could he bear to stand up to the pressure from his past life? He took a deep breath, glancing between Ben's innocent excitement and Maria's grateful gaze, weighing the cost of transformation against the burdens of expectation. It was an uphill climb, and for the first time, Alex wasn't sure he was ready to conquer it. What would happen next? Would he stand against the tide of judgment or let it sweep him back into the shadows? The answers lay on the horizon, beckoning him toward a decision that could change everything. Alex's phone buzzed again, a jarring reminder that reality still existed outside this bubble of hope he had created with Maria and Ben. He could practically feel the weight of the judgmental gazes on his back. He forced himself to focus on the two people in front of him, the laughter still echoing softly around them. "Hey," he said, trying to keep his smile intact, "what if we take this to the next level? How about a little art show? We could invite our friends and family to see Ben's masterpiece and raise some money for you too." Maria's eyes widened again, matching her disbelief from earlier. "An art show? You really think people would come?" "Of course," Alex said, feeling a rush of energy. "You'd be surprised how many people would be interested in supporting a good cause, especially when a kid is the real artist." Ben jumped in place, clapping his hands. Can I draw more houses? And maybe a dog too? Absolutely. Alex laughed, his heart swelling with excitement. Let us make a whole gallery of your drawings. Maria's gaze softened, more tears brimming in her eyes. You don't have to do this for us, Alex. You don't even know me well. Maybe not yet, he replied, deciding where the conversation would lead next. But I want to help you get back on your feet. This isn't just for you, it's for Ben too. You're both worth it. As they talked, the murmurings behind him continued to swell. Friends who once praised his every move were suddenly viewing him through a lens of skepticism. Their skepticism shimmered like a dark cloud overhead, threatening to rain on the moment. Would he let them? The chill returned, but Alex could feel warmth blossoming in his chest. You know what? He declared, his voice breaking through the noise. It's going to be okay. I promise. It was a promise he made not just to Maria and Ben, but to himself. He glanced again at his phone, the text still flashing ominously. But the urgent message felt smaller now, a lingering annoyance overshadowed by the bright spark of joy radiating from Maria and Ben. Here's what we can do, he continued, invigorated by the rush of possibilities. Let us set a date for this art show and get started. We'll make posters, spread the word. We can do this together. Behind him, the naysayers were whispering frantically, caught off guard by his sudden resolve. For Alex, their voices lost meaning in the laughter that erupted when Ben pretended to sketch a dog with a crayon, growing more animated with every silly move. But as the moment expanded, possibilities swirling, doubt crept in again. What would the media say? How would his family react? Would the old friendships he once cherished turn to ash over this choice? Alex. Maria's voice cut through his haze of thoughts. Are you really sure? This could backfire on you. Trust me, he said, a hint of panic flaring. I don't care what anyone thinks anymore. If helping means standing up for what's right, then I'm in. Suddenly, a commotion arose from the back of the room, where a group from his old life shuffled closer, curiosity etched on their faces. Were they truly there to watch or to scrutinize? He could hear snippets of conversation, their eyes darting between him, Maria, and the child, as if they were speculating on some far-off disaster, and just like that, Alex's heart raced. Perhaps he hadn't fully thought this through. He could feel the winds shifting as he prepared to face the storm brewing around him, but what if the storm brought change? What if he could be the catalyst for something beautiful, something transformative? Caught between his past and this burgeoning hope, he took one last breath. Could he really step into this new life, or would the fear of judgment pull him back? As the room fell silent, he braced himself for the inevitable confrontation. Would this be the moment that changed everything, or the moment where he retreated back into the shadows? The open door beckoned, and he was left to choose. The whispers grew louder, buzzing like angry bees around Alex, but he didn't waver. He squared his shoulders, accepting the uninvited presence of his old friends as a challenge rather than a threat. To his surprise, Maria stepped a little closer to him, her hand brushing against his forearm. It was a small gesture, but it ignited a flame of courage within him. Let us focus on Ben's art, Alex said, rallying his thoughts. Everybody, come on. We're brainstorming for an art show. This kid is gonna be the highlight of the gallery. The kids giggled in response, and Ben, excited, declared, and I'll need sparkly crayons. As he waved his arms dramatically, almost knocking over a nearby cup. Laughter erupted, mixing with the murmurs of skepticism that still lingered in the air. Maria smiled, her earlier apprehension melting away. Okay, then. Let us do this, she said, her voice steadier now. I mean, why not? It could be fun. And, she added, looking shyly to Alex, it means a lot that you want to help us. Just as Alex felt a wave of warmth wash over him, a voice cut through the moment. What is so special about some kid's drawings? It was Jess, one of the more prominent figures from his old life, her tone dripping with condescension. Alex turned to face her directly, clenching his fists to keep from shaking. "You'd be surprised what people find special," he replied, injecting conviction into every word. "Art isn't just about technique. It's about telling a story, capturing a moment. Ben's drawings, they reflect his imagination. They matter. Well, what if no one shows up? What if this whole thing falls flat?" Jess shot back, her expression skeptical but inquisitive, perhaps sensing a shift in the energy of the crowd. "Are you really prepared for that?" Alex swallowed hard, knowing this was more than about attending an art show. "I'm not doing this for accolades or validation," he said, his heartbeat loud in his ears. "I'm doing it because it's right. I believe in them." Ben looked up at him, wide-eyed, as if he understood the gravity of the moment. "Can we draw monsters too?" he asked, and that simple question broke some of the tension in the room. "Absolutely. Monsters need love too," Maria chimed in, and laughter followed, lightening the atmosphere. The crowd began to shift, a few faces softened, reflecting a flicker of understanding. Maybe, just maybe, Alex's declaration had struck a chord. "All right," someone called from the back. "Let us give it a shot. Who knows? It might just turn into something big." More cheers erupted, and Alex breathed a sigh of relief. Was this the turning point he needed? But before he could fully relish the moment, his phone buzzed again, sharper this time. He glanced at it, then shoved the device deep into his pocket. No more distractions. It was high time he focused on what really mattered. Maria and Ben, the fresh ideas began to flow: art materials, visuals for the gallery, and the potential to reach out to local businesses for support. Alex felt a rhythm forming, one that could pull them all together, like pieces of a puzzle. He could picture the colorful truss that hung in the air as dreams danced effortlessly between them. Just when the laughter reached its peak, a sudden silence descended upon them once more. A figure loomed at the doorway, a man Alex recognized from his past. The man's penetrating gaze fixed on him, leaving no doubt he had come for a reason. "Alex," the man said, voice low and heavy, "we need to talk." As the crowd shifted their gaze toward the unexpected newcomer, Alex felt an ice-cold wave of dread wash over him. Would this be the moment everything unraveled, or the moment he truly stepped into his new life? Facing this confrontation might change everything. Would he stand his ground, or would his past finally catch up with him? The crowd instinctively drew back, eyes darting between Alex and the man at the door. A few whispers ignited, mingling confusion with the previous warmth they had just felt. Ben's excited chuckle faded, replaced by a sense of uncertainty that hung heavy in the air. "Who's that?" someone whispered from the back, breaking the tense silence and prompting Alex to hold his breath. Heat rushed to his face as he recognized the man: Mark, his mentor from years ago. Once a guiding light, now a shadow of anxiety loomed over their shared history. "Alex," Mark repeated, his eyes never wavering. "This isn't a good time. We need to talk now." The urgency in Mark's tone sent alarms ringing in Alex's head. He remembered the ambition they once shared, the late nights filled with dreams of success and fulfillment. But now, that same ambition felt tainted by the weight of unresolved choices. Alex fought the rising tide of shame and regret threatening to sweep him away. "I'm busy," Alex replied, keeping his voice steady even as his heart raced. "This is important." He gestured toward Ben, who bounced between Maria and the other kids, oblivious to the adult tensions hovering above them. "This isn't just about art, is it?" Mark pressed, taking a step closer. "You're running from something. Don't jeopardize what you've built here." The truth of those words cut deeper than Alex anticipated. He clenched his fists, biting back frustration. Did Mark really understand, or was he just reiterating what Alex had already realized? "This is my life now," he asserted, trying to find confidence in his voice. "I'm not turning back." Maria reached out, concern etched across her face. Alex, maybe it's worth hearing him out. She suggested softly. Her hand brushed his shoulder, a grounding presence in the chaos unraveling around him. Together, we're doing something good, Alex said, his gaze darting back to Ben, who was now showcasing a wild rainbow drawing featuring a dinosaur and a unicorn. Beneath the innocence and sincerity of that image was a world of possibility. This matters. I want to help him share his story. I know, and I admire that, Mark replied, unyielding. But sometimes we can't ignore the past. He could hurt you, and you aren't equipped to handle it alone. The air crackled with tension as those words settled. Alex felt overwhelmed. Could the past still reach out and grab him? He searched the faces around him, scanning for reassurance. He needed to anchor himself, he needed to forge ahead. Listen, he said, lowering his voice. I respect you, but I have to decide what's best for me and for Ben right now. This journey isn't just mine. It includes everyone here, including Maria. He refused to look back. No more self-doubt. Mark opened his mouth, and the weight of his concern hung between them like a thick fog. But before he could speak again, Alex shook his head. You don't understand. I can't let you disrupt this moment. From behind, Ben suddenly squealed, look at my monster. He's going to bring joy. His voice, full of innocence and wonder, cut through the tension like a warm breeze. Alex turned, momentarily forgetting about his past, and looked at the masterpiece in front of him. There was magic in that drawing, a spark filled with laughter and dreams. He felt the embers of determination flicker in his chest again. Monsters do need love, Ben, Alex affirmed, smiling through the storm. Just like we do. As he exchanged glances with Maria, an unspoken understanding passed between them, a bond fortified by the moment. The laughter from the children surged back like a tidal wave, sweeping away the remnants of doubt, but just as Alex began to find solid ground, a rumble of deep laughter echoed from the back. What if I want to draw a monster too? A familiar voice called out Jess, her earlier scorn replaced with something different. Confusion settled in again. What did she truly mean? He felt the pull of the past grappling with the excitement of the present, hearts racing and hopes fluttering in the air. Was this confrontation a chance at closure or just the beginning of new trouble? Before he could decide, another buzz filled his pocket. Alex fumbled to silence his phone but couldn't ignore its urgency. What could it possibly be now? The question lingered too long, and Alex felt uncertainty creep back in. What awaited him next? Would he have to face not only his past but the unknown? The phone continued to vibrate against Alex's thigh, a relentless reminder that something awaited him beyond this swirling chaos. He hesitated, caught in the magnetic pull of the moment. After a deep breath, he glanced at Mark, whose expression was a mix of worry and determination. Just give me a second, Alex insisted, stepping away from the echoing laughter of the children. As he pulled the phone from his pocket, he stole a quick glance at Ben and Maria, grounding himself in their smiles. He needed to stay present. This was their moment. But the message on his screen sent a shockwave through him, we need to meet. It's important. The name at the top of the message bounced around in his mind like a volley, igniting confusion and dread. It was from a lawyer he hadn't heard from in years. The last time they spoke was when Alex had taken a different path, a path far from the one Mark wanted him to follow. He felt his hands grow clammy. Mark took a step forward, reading the tension in Alex's posture. What is it? He asked, voice low. It's nothing, Alex replied quickly, but his heart didn't agree. The urgency in the message gnawed at his insides. It felt personal. Alex, please, Mark pressed. Whatever it is, you can't ignore it. Not now. His old mentor's words hung in the air, and Alex felt a pressure building. Ignoring his instincts would be a mistake, but what choice did he have? Alex. Jess's voice rang out, cutting through the murmur of the crowd. She stepped closer, a determined look on her face. I didn't mean to interrupt, but can we talk? It's about the project. Project? Confusion swirled. Alex could barely focus on anything besides the text lingering on his screen. I don't want to talk right now, he said, wishing to escape, to retreat where it was quieter. Jess crossed her arms, unyielding. Well, I think we should, especially if it involves what happened before. Her words were heavy yet fragile, each one planted with significance. Ben's drawing he began, but she cut him off. Screw Ben's drawing for a second. This is bigger than that. The truth it matters. Her voice cracked slightly, a fracture in her resolve Alex noticed beneath her bravado. The air thickened again, laden with unspoken truths and unresolved feelings. He stood between Jess and Mark, like a man caught in a storm, each direction promising something he was not sure he wanted to face. Everything you're doing with the kids is amazing, but if we don't address what is going on, Jess urged, her voice dropping to a whisper, you'll be leaving it all behind eventually. Running. The weight of her words felt like a punch to the gut. He struggled to respond, to find a way to defend the future he had built with Ben and Maria. Yet, the nagging fear of the past draped over him like a dark cloak. Ben's excited laughter broke through his thoughts as he presented another drawing, this time a family of monsters, each one remarkably unique and bursting with color. For a brief moment, beauty enveloped him, and Alex felt an earnest yearning to protect that innocence, but the past had a way of creeping back, and it wouldn't pretend to be kind. The looming problem held him tightly in its grip as his decision loomed over him like a storm cloud. As more laughter erupted from the children, he turned back to Mark and Jess, their faces a canvas of concern and expectation. He could not shake that ominous buzz in his pocket, nor the relentless need to confront what awaited him. Could he find a way to balance the past and the present, or was it time to draw a boundary between them? What truth had the lawyer brought him, and more importantly, could he face it without shattering the life he had built? The weight of the moment hung heavy. Just when he thought clarity would find him, another buzz interrupted the silence, and he felt his heart race anew. Another message. Another tether to a world he thought he had left behind. What truth would it uncover? And would he have the strength to handle it? The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting warm hues across the park where laughter mingled with the cool breeze of the early evening. But all Alex could feel was the weight of that message pressing at the back of his mind, its implications swirling tumultuously in his bloodstream. He shifted his focus back to Ben and Maria, engaged in a game of chase with the other kids. Their joy felt like a tether anchoring him to the present. Yet, as laughter echoed hollowly around him, he felt the tug of the past drawing him away, demanding attention. He glanced back at Jess, who clearly wasn't going to drop this conversation. Her eyes were fierce but soft, a maddening combination he couldn't ignore. I can't just leave this alone, Alex, Jess insisted, her voice urgent now. You need to acknowledge it. Within him, a storm brewed. The air around them crackled, urging him to make a choice. He opened his mouth to speak but found he had no words. He scanned the crowd, spectators caught in their own carousel of life, oblivious to the unraveling tension around him. Mark's hand landed on his shoulder, steady and grounding. You have the chance to tackle this, Alex. But running isn't the way, he said quietly. Running. The very word echoed with painful memories of retreat, a response he had grown adept at in previous years. Could he really face what was in front of him? Was it enough to breathe out the fear and breathe in the courage? Alex? Jess's voice broke through again, pulling him back. He managed to meet her gaze this time, searching for something, any sign of resolve. Maybe we should just talk. Away from here, he finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. She nodded almost instantly, emotional relief flooding her eyes. They began walking, Mark staying behind to keep an eye on the kids. As they moved to a quieter part of the park, trees loomed tall, casting shadows that danced on the ground. Alex could feel Jess's intensity pressing against him, as if she could actually reach inside and pull out the truth he was so afraid to confront. "What are you afraid of?" Jess asked, her voice softening. That was it, wasn't it? Fear had always been a comfort for him, familiar, like an old coat, something he could wrap around himself whenever he felt exposed. "I don't want to disrupt Ben and Maria's lives," he admitted, his heart racing as he finally spoke the truth aloud. "The lawyer's message, it brings back things I thought I'd left behind. I don't know if I'm strong enough to handle it." Jess took a deep breath, exhaling slowly. "Ignoring it won't make it go away, and trust me, those kids deserve the real you, not the one hiding in shadows." Her words ignited something inside him. He was tired of living in fear, tired of those shadows. But the looming reality, the envelope waiting for him, the uncertainty of the past sent shivers down his spine. A sudden burst of laughter from Ben pulled his attention back to the present. The boy waved proudly, showing off yet another colorful creation, this time a fantastical dragon. "Look, Dad. It breathes fire." A smile broke across Alex's face, brilliance crashing against his earlier fears. In this moment, he felt joy seep into him like sunlight breaking through clouds. "See?" Jess said, her face brightening. "This is all worth it, isn't it?" "Yes," he admitted, more to himself than to her, but as that solace washed over him, the phone buzzed again, like an angry wasp demanding attention. He pulled it from his pocket, dread pooling in his stomach. The message preview read, "We can't wait much longer. It's time, you know." There it was, the confrontation he feared most. Would he be brave enough to dive in, or would he turn away again? Alex looked at Jess, the decision hanging between them. One way offered comfort, the other truth. Which path would he dare to take next? The buzzing in Alex's hand seemed to amplify his heart's frantic rhythm, drowning out the laughter of children and the rustling of leaves. Jess stared at him, her eyes wide and searching, waiting for his response. "Alex," she urged softly, almost pleadingly. "You can't let fear decide for you. This is your life." The weight of her words settled heavy in his chest. He hated the turmoil brewing inside him, yet he felt a flicker of hope. What if this was his chance to confront the past, to clear out the cobwebs buried deep in his heart? He took a breath, his hands trembling slightly as he contemplated the message. "What if I'm not ready?" he murmured, the uncertainty lacing his voice. "What if diving in only makes things worse? Worse than ignoring them? Worse than losing more time?" Her eyes flickered with determination, and he found himself drawn into the warmth of her faith in him. Jess wasn't just an outside observer. She was a thread woven into the fabric of his life, a reminder of the love he had for Ben and Maria. He glanced back at the kids again, laughing as they leaped and bounded like wild little deer. Each giggle became a lifeline, pulling him away from the abyss of his doubts. What if I were to face it but still protect them?" he suggested, tentatively testing the waters. Jess smiled, a mixture of admiration and support lighting her features. "You can't bubble wrap them forever. They deserve the truth, even if it feels uncomfortable at first." He could almost taste the bitterness of regret if he chose to keep his silence. What kind of example was that for Ben and Maria? With every second ticking by, the decision loomed larger, and his gut twisted tighter. "Okay," he finally said, finding a semblance of courage within the tangled mess of his fears. "Okay?" she asked, but her voice held a thrill as if she sensed a shift. "Yeah. I'll face it," he clarified, nodding. "I'll read the message and figure it out. But I need you there with me." The smile that broke across her face was radiant, an unexpected burst of light dispelling the shadows that clung to him. "You've got it, Alex. Whatever happens, I'll be right by your side." As she spoke, a fresh wave of laughter erupted. Maria slipped and fell into the grass, giggling as Ben rushed to help her up. They were so young, so untainted by the world's harsh realities. Alex's heart softened, and he reached for his phone, feeling the smooth surface under his fingers. The upcoming confrontation loomed, a specter he couldn't shake off. Sending a quick glance at Jess, he couldn't help but think how fortunate he was to have her support. That realization filled him with warmth. She was more than a friend, she was his anchor. He clicked on the message, bracing himself. His adrenaline spiked as he rolled the fabric of his fears in his mind. But before he could delve into the message, a familiar face pushed through the crowd, eyes wide and electric. "Alex!" It called out, echoing across the park. He stiffened instinctively, recognizing that voice, Angela, the past he had thought he could outrun. The memories came rushing back like a flood, the hurt, the anger, the unresolved issues. They flooded in so quickly he barely had time to react. As she approached, he could see the determination in her stride, and a gust of panic threatened to seize him. Did he really have the courage to confront his past now? With Jess standing close and the children's laughter in the air, Alex felt the weight of both hope and uncertainty, an intense urge to leap towards the truth. "What is she doing here?" he whispered, anxiety rippling beneath the surface. Jess took his hand, squeezing gently. "It's time, Alex." And with that, he braced himself, knowing that some paths were unavoidable. Would he finally find peace or be engulfed by the storm? The moment hung in the air, thick with tension. Alex felt Jess's hand warm around his, grounding him. He focused on Angela, who was now just a few steps away, her face a mixture of resolve and vulnerability. "Alex," she said again, softer now, a plea woven in her tone. "Can we talk?" He opened his mouth to respond, but words failed him. The past had a way of twisting his tongue into knots. Every shared memory with her felt heavy, like chains that bound him to moments he wanted to forget. "Mommy! Look!" Ben found a big stick. Maria's delighted squeal broke through the tense air, a reminder that while Alex was grappling with his history, innocence still danced around him. He glanced at the children, their carefree spirit serving as a stark contrast to the raw emotion surging inside him. "Please," Angela urged. There was something in her eyes, a flicker of the person he once knew. "I need you to listen." "I'm not sure I want to," Alex managed, his voice barely above a whisper. The shame of his feelings surged, the frustration of not being able to just let the past go. But Jess squeezed his hand tighter, as if to say, "You got this." Her support filled him with just enough strength to stand taller, to face what was challenging him. "Let us step aside," Alex said, gesturing toward a quieter corner of the park. He didn't want the kids to hear this. They deserved joy, not the weight of his unresolved feelings. Angela nodded, her expression mostly unreadable, but a flicker of relief washed over her. As they moved away from the animated laughter of the playground, Alex took one last look at Ben and Maria, their laughter echoing like a soft lullaby in his ears, a stark juxtaposition with the tumult inside. "Alex," Angela began once they were out of earshot. "I know things were bad between us. I'm not here to rewrite the past. But I came because of what is happening now. You deserve to know." The way she spoke hinted at something deeper, something he couldn't quite grasp yet. He swallowed hard, the air thick around them. "Know what?" he pressed, frustration bubbling at the edges. "That you disappeared? That you left me with so many questions?" She flinched at his words, her shoulders tensing, but something flickered in her eyes again. "I came across something you need to see, Alex." "It's important?" he interrupted, his voice rising slightly. "You call it important now? After years of silence?" "Please." Her voice cracked slightly, breaking the composure she had managed to hold. "Just hear me out. I'm not who you think I am anymore. I didn't leave because I wanted to hurt you. I thought I was protecting you." Protecting him. Those words tore through him like fresh wounds. "Protecting me or yourself?" he shot back, battling mounting anger and confusion. "Both," she said, her voice trembling. "I thought I could spare you from more pain. But I see now that was a mistake." He stared at her, emotions clashing violently. The past was clawing at him, each memory threatening to drown him. But glimpses of understanding began to leak in as well, a chance to find closure, to sift through the wreckage of their history. "What do you mean?" he asked, his voice a mixture of reticence and curiosity. Angela took a deep breath, glancing around as if to ensure they wouldn't be overheard. "Their essay letter, Alex, from your dad." His heart stopped. The letter. The message he had been preparing to read suddenly seemed small compared to this revelation. "What do you know about it?" "I know it's time for you to hear the truth." The surge of adrenaline shot through him. His past was thrust forward, demanding to be reckoned with once and for all. He felt Jess behind him, her presence steadying him even in this tense moment. Alex opened his mouth, ready to ask the questions burning in his mind, but then a sudden thought hit him. What if the truth was more than he prepared to handle? As hope and dread twisted together inside him, one question loomed larger as they stood under the sun-washed sky. Could this letter truly change everything? The air hummed with a nervous energy as Alex felt the gravity of Angela's words sink in. A letter from his father? He had long buried the thoughts of his father, a man whose absence formed both a shadow and a weight in his life. 1,000 questions surged through his mind, each one heavier than the last. What did it say? Why hadn't Angela brought this up sooner? Angela, he breathed, wrestling with the swell of emotions igniting inside him. Why now? Why after all this time? Her gaze flickered, brimming with something akin to regret. I've been living with this for a long time, Alex. I thought I hoped it would just stay buried. Buried? Those memories aren't just dust under a rug. They shape who we are. He snapped, his frustration poking through the cracks. The weight of their shared history filled the silence. Angela shifted, her face crumpling as if she were attempting to bear the burden of their past together. I know, she whispered. I just didn't want to hurt you more. What he wrote, it changes everything. If it changes everything, then why have you kept it from me? Because uncovering those painful truths can unravel you. I didn't want that for you, you didn't want it for you. He erupted, feeling the sharp edges of anger entwined with anguish. I've been picking up pieces of a life I never signed up for. A life I didn't choose. A piercing scream of joy broke through from the playground, shattering the somber moment. Ben, standing atop a swing, held his crayon-drawn dragon aloft like a victorious trophy. In that pure moment of childhood joy, Alex's heart softened. He grasped for the light shining through, a gentle reminder of hope and innocence. Alex turned back to Angela, his voice dropping to a fierce whisper. If what you have can offer me answers, I need to know. I can't run anymore. Angela nodded, tears welling in her eyes, shimmering with unshed emotions. I'll bring it to you, she promised, her voice steadying. But you need to know I don't have all the answers either. Just a few pieces, he echoed, choking on the weight of her admission. Pieces that can either set me free or drown me. I don't want to see you hurt, she murmured. Then let me make that choice. A long pause stretched between them, thoughts swirling like leaves caught in a whirlpool. Alex's heart thundered as clarity began swaying in him like the warm evening air. I have to. Just as he opened his mouth to speak again, laughter erupted from behind him. He turned to see Maria spinning in delight, making Ben squeal louder with happiness. Their joy shattered through the heaviness surrounding him. Can we draw more monsters, Mommy? Ben asked, his features alight with enthusiasm. Yes, buddy. We'll draw the biggest, most colorful ones. Maria replied, laughter bubbling up as she chased him across the grass. The innocence of their laughter refracted light onto Alex's heart and forced colors back into his world. He thought of the message from his lawyer gathering dust in his pocket, an obligation pressed upon him like a weighty stone. Angela, he began again, feeling the warmth of determination flow through him. I want to confront the truth, but I won't let it steal my joy or theirs. The tumultuous emotions began to settle. He could tackle his past without letting it dictate his future. Yes, this was a fight for himself, for Ben and Maria, for the very foundation he was trying to build. He stepped toward Angela, grounding himself. Thank you for coming. Let us resolve our past, but I won't let it affect the life I want to build with them. She nodded slowly, understanding flashing in her eyes, acknowledgments of pain and progress merging. They stood facing each other, worlds apart but with the possibility of connection warming the space between them. As Angela murmured her agreement and shared a glimmer of hope in the form of a tentative smile, Alex turned to rejoin Maria and Ben. The children's laughter danced over to him, pulling him closer with each infectious giggle. This is where I belong, he thought, with a heart full of resolve. As he broke into a jog towards them, the shadows that loomed behind him began to fade, replaced by a new light. Hey, team! Alex called out, determination ringing in his voice. Who's ready to unleash the wildest monsters we can draw? Ben jumped with glee, his little fist pumping the air, while Maria laughed, her eyes sparkling. Through the laughter and excitement, Alex felt it, a profound realization that family, community, and connection are worth every fight. As he crouched down beside them, Alex knew that he would tackle whatever came next: fatherhood, dignity, the letter, and everything in between. Because only then could he build a life of meaning not just for himself, but for them all. And just as time reset in that joy-filled moment, he promised himself, he would stand firm against whatever storm awaited him, because his true legacy was there, waiting in the laughter of innocence, ready to be nurtured and cherished. So, here's your call to action, folks. You need to subscribe now to not miss these transformative stories that tug at your heart. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us reach even more people who need to hear these resonant tales. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about Alex's journey. What did it mean to you? And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who could benefit from this inspiration. Together, let's spread hope and transformation. This is the moment to show your support.